The year 1899 represented the terminal phase of the American frontier. Industrialization, spearheaded by figures such as Leviticus Cornwall, and the expansion of organized law enforcement, notably the Pinkerton Detective Agency, were rapidly enclosing the frontier. This era of transition marginalized those who lived outside the advancing societal structure. Arthur Morgan, a principal lieutenant in the Linde gang, was one such individual navigating this volatile period. Arthur Morgan was born in 1863 to Beatrice and Lyle Morgan. His early childhood was marked by instability and tragedy. His mother died when he was young. His father, a petty outlaw, was arrested for larceny and later died in an unspecified manner. By age 11, Morgan was orphaned. In approximately 1877, the adolescent Morgan was taken under the guardianship of Dutch van der Linde and Hosea Matthews. Van der Linde and Matthews functioned as surrogate fathers and ideological mentors. They indoctrinated Morgan into a philosophy that idealized personal liberty and rejected centralized government. The gang financed this lifestyle through illicit activities, primarily robbery, which van der Linde framed as acts of rebellion against a corrupt system. For the subsequent 2 decades, Arthur Morgan served as the van der Linde gang's most effective operative and enforcer. He was responsible for significant logistical operations, high-risk robberies, and maintaining internal discipline. Morgan's commitment to the outlaw life, however, came at significant personal cost. During this period, Morgan fathered a son, Isaac, with a waitress named Eliza. Both were later murdered by robbers for a nominal sum of money. This event profoundly affected Morgan, contributing to a hardened, emotionally reserved demeanor. Concurrently, Morgan experienced the dissolution of his engagement to Mary Linton. Their relationship was characterized by genuine affection, but was ultimately unsustainable due to Morgan's affiliation with the van der Linde gang and the disapproval of Linton's family, particularly her father. Morgan's inability or unwillingness to abandon the gang solidified his trajectory as an outlaw and represented his most significant forfeiture of a conventional life. The van der Linde gang's decline began in earnest in 1899, following a failed ferry robbery in Blackwater. The incident resulted in multiple casualties, the loss of the gang's substantial financial reserves, and an intensive pursuit by the Pinkerton Detective Agency. This forced the gang into a fugitive existence, beginning with a desperate retreat into the Grizzly Mountains during a severe blizzard. The ensuing months were characterized by a downward spiral. The gang attempted to accumulate funds for an escape from the encroaching law, but their operations became increasingly reckless. Dutch van der Linde's leadership grew erratic, favoring the counsel of the volatile Micah Bell over the more measured perspectives of Hosea Matthews and Arthur Morgan. Morgan, while remaining operationally loyal, began to privately document his skepticism regarding van der Linde's judgment and the gang's viability. In 1899, Mary Linton reinitiated contact with Morgan via correspondence, requesting his assistance in resolving familial issues, including intervening with her brother's involvement in a cult and addressing her father's destructive behaviors. Morgan rendered aid on multiple occasions, indicating lingering emotional attachment. Despite a mutual acknowledgement of their connection and a brief consideration of absconding together, Morgan prioritized his responsibilities to the gang, and their lives remained incompatible. Morgan continued to execute his duties, including the enforcement of loans managed by Leopold Strauss. During the collection of a debt from Thomas Downs, a farmer afflicted with tuberculosis, Morgan physically assaulted him. During this altercation, Downs coughed blood onto Morgan. Shortly thereafter, Morgan began exhibiting symptoms of the disease. A diagnosis in the city of Saint Denis confirmed active terminal tuberculosis. This diagnosis coincided with a severe escalation in the gang's misfortunes, including a failed bank robbery in Saint Denis that resulted in the deaths of Hosea Matthews and Lenny Summers, in a period where key members, including Morgan, were shipwrecked on the Caribbean island of Guarma. The terminal diagnosis prompted a fundamental shift in Morgan's priorities. Confronted with his mortality and the realization that van der Linde's ideology was leading the group to annihilation, Morgan began to reevaluate his life and legacy. During this period, Mary Linton sent final correspondence, returning Morgan's ring and confirming the definitive end of their association. In his final months, Morgan sought to mitigate the damage caused by the gang and focused his efforts on protecting those individuals he deemed redeemable. He forcibly exiled Leopold Strauss for his predatory lending practices. Most significantly, Morgan dedicated himself to securing a future for fellow gang member John Marston, his wife Abigail, and their son Jack. By late 1899, the Vanderlinde gang fractured under internal betrayal and external pressure. The Pinkerton Agency, led by Agent Andrew Milton, located the gang's final hideout. During the ensuing confrontation, Agent Milton revealed that Micah Bell had been providing information to the agency since their return from Guarma. In the gang's final dissolution, Arthur Morgan made a decisive choice to ensure the Marston family's escape. After facilitating John Marston's safety, Morgan confronted Vanderlinde and Bell. Vanderlinde, unable to reconcile the betrayal with his worldview, abandoned both Morgan and Bell. Severely weakened by his disease and exhausted from his physical confrontation with Micah Bell, Arthur Morgan died on a mountainside in 1899. He was 36 years old. The immediate cause of death was a combination of tuberculosis and physical trauma. Arthur Morgan spent his life in service to an anarchic ideology that proved unsustainable in the face of modernization. However, his final actions repudiated that ideology in favor of self-sacrifice. By prioritizing the lives of the Marston family over the gang's abstract goals, Morgan ensured their survival and eventual establishment of a life outside the outlaw paradigm.